Hello, and welcome to Dark Desires and Drafts. My name is Amanda. Welcome to my cozy little corner of the internet, and I'm so happy that you're here. This channel / podcast is a place where I'll be sharing my creative journey as a writer. I'll dive into my writing process, as well as my inspirations, and of course, a bunch of bookish topics as well as what I'm currently reading, things that are inspiring my own writing, as well as films and book reviews. As an aspiring writer, I am currently working on what I hope to be my debut novel. Currently, I am calling it Project Crimson. It's a vampiric horror comedy set in the 80s. I took a lot of inspiration from Lisa Frankenstein, Heathers, Lost Boys, and Salem's Lot, as well as American Horror Story 1984, old slashers, anything like Victorian. Those are all things that I really draw a lot of inspiration for. And I want my novel to reflect those things as well. It's got glamour, sex, mystery, blood, everything that you could want, really. And that's also what excites me about this project, is being able to blend everything that I like into it. The 80s aesthetic, the horror, the campiness, the comedy, as well as the intention of a thriller. I'm drawing inspiration from the fashion and just like the glamour of the time period. Neon lights and allure kind of mixed together is like the vibe I'm going for. I want my project to feel stylish, moody, and like a little bit dangerous while still being fun. I don't want to give too much away, but my female main character is one of those characters that just demands attention. She's charming and terrifying, and she's kind of just everything I'm not. She's just got the allure, mystery, style, and confidence that I think everybody kind of wants more of in their own life. She's been such a fun character to explore and write. I feel like she's come to life in my mind, and I need to just like do her justice and like get her onto a page. I'm very excited to do that. So why am I doing this now? Writing was not the obvious path for me at all. I've done a lot of things to get here. I've always been very involved with a lot of creative projects at once. I've started businesses. I've had multiple YouTube channels. I went to art school and dropped out. Really struggled to kind of find the right creative outlet for me. And I've just had a lot of hobbies and a lot of hyperfixations, and I constantly kind of pigeonhole myself into things and don't allow myself to explore other things. So I'm trying to just kind of streamline all that and have one place where I can have a creative hub and relate all those things together. For a long time, the only writing I did was for classes. I've been following Luna Serenova for a while, and she's one of my favorite creators. She's a witchy babe, and I love her style and her aesthetic. And she recently opened up about her own self-publishing journey with her poetry book, and I just found the whole process and everything just so interesting. And it just seemed to kind of call out to me as the creative side, from writing the book to designing the cover to doing marketing and branding and just having your hand in all these different creative things. It just seemed to be a whole blend of everything that I was interested in. And so I just kind of started to want to know more about that process and what that was. Something in me just kind of clicked. The idea of creating something so personal and having total creative control from start to finish just really appeals to me, for sure. On top of that, I've just been always drawn to storytelling. As a kid, I would always make up stories. One of the first movies I remember seeing is Nightmare on Elm Street, so I've always been very heavily influenced by horror. I would kind of escape into horror and obscure books. I read a lot of Chuck Palahniuk as a kid and anything immersive. I also had these recurring nightmares that also kind of translated into my adulthood now, into recurring dreams, and writing is just I'm looking at it as a way that I can kind of channel those things and get them out and kind of use them as a creative tool. The story for Project Crimson has actually just kind of came to me effortlessly, and that's just been really cool. I kind of started writing just like a little bit of like almost like journaling, where you kind of write your own experiences, and I was just thinking about aesthetics that I like and my own experiences and kind of what I would want to read in a book, and the story has just kind of started to come and flow to me. I started writing my project in December, and I'm only about 2,000 words in, which I know in the scheme of things is nothing, but for someone that hasn't written anything substantial at all, let alone recently, it's a lot for me. And I'm kind of just learning like what kind of writer I am. Like, do I want to plan everything or just kind of let it take me as I go? And I find I'm a little bit a mixture of both so far, which is fun, but I also do like to outline, and I like to dive into characters and like kind of see what they are like before I get like too far in. So I've kind of taken a step back, but I'm really excited to get back into the writing and make it kind of like more of a focus. That's the other reason why I wanted to start this, to kind of make it a little more real. So if you have any advice for someone who's literally just starting their first draft, please leave it in the comments because I would love to hear it. My mouth gets so dry talking. I'm so not used to talking for extended periods of time like this. So that's gonna also be a lot of getting used to as well. Hopefully you all don't mind my voice too much. Another huge part of this has been discovering Authortube. I stumbled upon creators like Brielle Writes, and seeing other writers document their progress is just really inspiring, and it also just shows that people are really interested in the whole process, which is kind of why I wanted to start this now at the beginning and not when I'm like too far in. Brielle is just super inspiring to me. Her videos are very aesthetic, and she's got a background in film and photography, which you can so tell. That's kind of like what I'm trying to emulate and get to as well. And the idea of building a place where I can just document my progress and share my inspirations and build a community with like-minded people is just really exciting, and that's kind of how this all kind of came to be. Beyond writing, one of my other big passions is vintage fashion. I do run a little online vintage store called Forgotten Ivy Vintage, and I source 80s, 90s, Y2K, and like some other stuff as well. And I just really enjoy fashion. It's always inspired me. I've been working retail my whole life, so that's also just been a big part of my life. Vintage fashion has sparked a lot of the ideas for my project. The like bold and edgy styles, Fran Fine and little leather skirts and boots, and it's always kind of inspired me, not just how I dress, but with how I create as well. Kind of want to weave that into the channel with some like thrifting videos maybe, or like things that have to do with my character. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. I just love how fashion tells a story, and I want to weave that same energy into my own writing. And that's not all. If you're a fan of eerie and obscure, you are in the right place, because I have a passion for unusual mysteries, lost media, Reddit stories, cryptids, paranormal, anything macabre. Those, you can kind of expect those topics from me as well. I am hoping on maybe trying to do some deep dives also. We'll see kind of where that goes. Blending research into storytelling to create content that's both intriguing and like atmospheric as well. And just kind of tying all of those things together. That is the vibe. This channel is just one part of like a big creative hub that I'm building. I'm one that ties together my writing, online thrift store, and love for whimsical and the gothic and the obscure If you're here for the writing journey, the vintage vibes, or just to hang out and talk about books, horror, creativity, I'm so glad you're here because that's exactly what we're going to do here. My goal is to build a space where the creativity just thrives and where we can kind of all connect as a community and just love strange, weird things. If you've made it this far and listened to me ramble, thank you. I would love to connect with you. Let me know the creative projects you're working on in the comments, or just leave a little sparkle emoji so I know that you've made it this far to the end. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or follow this podcast wherever you're listening. I cannot wait to get this going and see where this takes me. Thank you so much for being here at the start of this journey. I can't wait to share more with you, and I hope you'll stick around to see what's next. Until then, stay curious, stay creative, and I'll see you or talk to you very soon.